everyone, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. Today on John's Briefs with Tim Forshee at C2. Once again, we have one of the dumber videos I've ever seen in my life. We're just running a series of these. But this one, I get people that ask me this from time to time on various videos. I just chose this one to talk about it. And people are like, wait a minute, John, why is this guy charged with aggrassault and not charged with attempted murder? Let's talk about it.
To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below.
Yeah. What, you threatening me? What?
Watch it one more time. He asked, are you threatening me? And the guy said, yes, I am, and comes in and just hits him with the hatchet in the leg. It actually hit his femoral artery. This guy was able to drive off, though, and stanch the blood flow while he was driving off to get to a local fire station where they saved his life by putting a tourniquet on him. A few hours later, the police caught this guy and arrested him. He is facing serious aggravated assault charges. Let's say in Florida, it's aggravated battery with intent to cause serious injury. He's going to do a lot of time. So this one is goofy on a high level.
Oh my God.
Go watch the video on the main channel with all the analysis of what went down here, okay? Because it's weird and and all that.
You don't see too many hatchet-wielding assailants outside of Hollywood, so
yeah. Correct, yeah. Right? Like, you know, you expect Jason Voorhees, but not, you know.
He did have the cool gloves, though.
He did.
So, yeah.
And, yeah.
By the way, where did this happen?
We love you, Florida. We love you, Florida, so much. God bless you, Floridians.
In the words of one of my favorite comedians, Patton Oswalt, the only legitimate reason to go to Florida is to identify your daughter's body.
Yeah, it's just... I was recently there in Tampa for a couple of days for a class not long ago, and I just kept waiting to run into Florida, man. Oh boy.
Or as we've now met, Florida ma'am.
Florida ma'am, also there. Wow. Anyway, so Tim, in your estimation though, I see this all the time.
Yeah.
People get charged in these with aggravated assault, or, you know, in some states they don't call it aggravated assault, they call it, you know, felony assault,
right,
or, you know, first degree assault, whatever. Rather than attempted murder.
Yeah.
People are like, why isn't that charged as attempted murder? Well, you're the criminal defense attorney.
So I think the answer, I was a baby prosecutor for 2 years, many years ago in another life, and I didn't make any charging decisions, so I was never in a charging bureau. But my understanding of this, when talking to fellow lawyers, and you know, because it's a great question. This guy, he attacked him with a hatchet. I mean, clearly he meant clearly lethal force. He's trying to kill the guy. He severed his femoral artery. The guy damn near died. I mean, what could be more blatant than that? I think it boils down to a couple things. First of all, it's harder to get a successful prosecution in attempted murder because you have to prove as a component of the crime intent to kill. For that, ag assault doesn't require that. Ag assault doesn't have to prove intent to kill. It just has to prove intent to swing a hatchet, right? Clearly that happened. So intent to kill. Usually you see attempted murder. I hire a hitman to kill my wife, you know, and it's an undercover FBI agent. Clearly my intent was for my wife to die. That's attempted murder, right? Or
if after Miranda and you say, well, why did you try to kill him? Well, because that son of a bitch deserved it.
Yeah, where I can prove now that after you've been Mirandized, and that's admissible evidence, you can prove that my intent was to kill this person. That's why I always say, when I teach CCW or when I'm talking to my clients for that matter, you never ever shoot to kill. You can't shoot to kill. You shoot to stop the threat. Yeah. If you shoot to kill, then your intent is to kill. And that's murder. So that would be, if it failed, that would be attempted murder if you shoot to kill. I was shooting to kill him. Really? You just confessed to attempted murder, sir. And if he died, you just confessed to murder.
No, I'm trying to change his behavior and make him stop his aggravated assault on my person.
Trying to stop the threat. That's what you make sure you burn those words into your brain. You don't ever shoot to stop, despite what my dad, my uncle, and my granddad. I'm sorry, you don't ever shoot to kill. Despite, thank you. Despite
change
what
the behavior.
And see if I just blurted that out to a cop and I've been Mirandized, there you go. Don't start talking. But the point is that it's difficult to prove that intent. Very easy to prove aggravated assault. Maybe this guy's got priors, wouldn't surprise me a bit. If he's got priors and he swung a hatchet at somebody, they're going to throw the book at him. He's probably looking at 10, 15 years in prison anyway, which is basically the same as attempted murder. So it's hard to prove. It's hard to prove intent, which is why we don't see perjury prosecutions very often. Well, he lied under oath. I have to prove to another jury that he knew he was lying when he was under oath. All he's got to say is, I was confused. I misstated it because I was confused. I didn't understand the question. and that you're not going to get a successful conviction. So it's very rare that they prosecute perjury cases because you can't prove intent to lie very easy. You can prove a lie, and you can prove they're under oath, but you can't prove that they intended to lie under oath unless it's really just a gift-wrapped case. And you don't see those very often. And kind of the same with attempted murder.
Well, and yeah, the difference in sentencing between attempted murder and aggravated assault's usually not that much.
Not huge. It might be double, but if we're talking 10 years versus 20, I mean, they're still going away for a long time. Society's going to be safe for a while here. So yeah.
And that's the thing. So the video that you watched, right? Now let's just say that the offender here is smart. And
which I think we can agree.
He's not. He's smart enough not to make a statement to the cops without his attorney present, and his attorney goes, "Shut up." And he doesn't make any kind of statements, and he hasn't written on his social media that he intends to go kill his granddaughter's daddy or something stupid like that. So that prosecutor has to prove to the jury that this was an intended act. It intended to cause death in order to get a conviction there. Otherwise, I start dropping into less serious crimes.
Right.
And that are less serious than the aggravated assault.
And a lot of prosecutors don't want to charge lesser included because that gives the jury a lesser, an option to not get you the goal. I mean, my goal puts this guy away for attempted murder, but if I offer them aggravated assault and attempted murder, then it's probably going to get rid of the attempted murder. They'll be easier to agree upon the ag assault. Now, why did I bother with the attempted murder? I really want the attempted murder. I'm not going to charge ag assault. So this whole thing, this algebraic decisions about lesser included, and that's why you see that happen too. So,
and if he's not on record saying that, and he doesn't have to testify at his own trial, so then how do I prove intent? What? Now, I think the counter argument is swinging a hatchet at somebody is highly likely,
pretty likely
to cause death, and therefore, or if I shoot a gun at somebody, it's so likely to cause their death. I would never do that if I didn't intend to cause their death.
But another good analogy would be we have second-degree murder and we have first-degree murder. Second-degree murder is intentionally killing somebody without justification, without premeditation. First-degree murder is killing somebody with the intent to kill them with premeditation. How do I prove premeditation?
Yeah.
And that's why we don't see that many first-degree murder prosecutions. We see a lot more second-degree because proving that intent, proving that premeditation can be difficult.
And you can, like in the case he talks about earlier, okay, I paid somebody to go kill my wife,
right,
and they went and killed my wife. Well, there I have proven premeditation. We thought about this in advance and intended.
That's murder in the first degree, conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree.
Right.
But if it's a undercover agent and the crime doesn't happen, now it's attempted murder, attempted conspiracy to commit murder, which now that takes you in Arizona, that takes you one step down on the sentencing ladder. You're still in a whole lot of trouble.
You're still a class 2. You're still in big trouble. So that attempted murder is not the panacea, right? So you might get 15 years for attempted murder,
right,
and maybe only 10 for ag assault.
But I'll get a conviction 96% of the time on the ag assault and 26% of the time on the attempted murder. And I think therein lies the rub. That's the answer, yeah.
And I think that's the answer. I think that's why we see it charged that way time and time and time again. If I have something on the record that the defendant intended to kill, that they wanted to kill, they wanted that guy to die, they say something stupid.
And like you said, social media.
They
scrub your social media and they'll find something like that, yeah.
I recently had a case that I literally, the defense team had been given by the prosecution literally 3 binders full of social media posts, like thousands and thousands and thousands of social media
posts. You're making their job easy, guys.
Yeah, which as the guy who, I post on my socials, obviously 2 videos on the Ask channels every single day. Also on my personal socials, I'm like, go ahead. You want to pay some intern to do that? By all means, look through all my stuff. I'll stand behind what I say too. I
take 10 people 10 years to do that.
I don't post stuff on socials that I won't stand behind, so that's fine. But just recognize that aggravated assault charge is everywhere a serious, dangerous felony, and you're going to do serious time for it. You're not, nobody gets convicted of ag assault and serves 12 months.
Here's the weird part. After he gets out of prison, he can go buy a hatchet.
Yeah, well, there you go. Hatchet control. But the attempted murder is so much harder to prove. That's why they don't do it. Yeah. And that, what this video is all about is I wanted to educate all of you on that. But really what I wanted is I wanted a link so that every time on the big channel that somebody says, why wasn't he charged with attempted murder? I can just
take it back to the 3. Go.
So thanks for helping
solve
me
the problem.
Make it.
Always, buddy. If we can make your job easier, Johnny, that's what we're trying to do. So.